All right, let's get this right for a change. This is the Good Life meditation for October 7th, 2000. Wait for it. 16. Yeah, no more messages from the future from me. All right. You guys might be wondering about now. I've uploaded 2 of these so far on the softypapa channel. What in the world am I doing? Well, if you saw the first one all the way through, that might have given you a good idea about the motivation, which came from an email that I received from someone that dealing with some challenges in life and dealing with them in a successful manner. And I was encouraged because I may have played a small role in that, in helping them push past some of the difficulty. And I asked myself, why, if that's the case, if there is some benefit to these other types of videos and these other types of thoughts that I typically keep to myself, if there's some benefit that might be found for others, then why do I hide it away on a channel that nobody knows about? And thank you. And why am I so reluctant to put this stuff out? And I know why, because it's loaded with all kinds of stuff that I'm not comfortable. I don't want to deal with. You know, it's not what my this channel has been historically about. It's not. I'm not necessarily comfortable. Standing on a soapbox and throwing those ideas out in such a public forum. It's easy to do it on a channel that I had created, which is called the Good Life channel. I had created it separately, and I had gone over there, and it's really easy to stand on a soapbox when there's no one around, out in the middle of nowhere, on a channel that nobody watches. But really, the reason I started this in the first place was not so much as a soapbox. I had not to convey a message to anybody. I'm not that altruistic. I guess I'm pretty selfish. I just kind of do it for myself, because I've noticed that when I'm going through this exercise, which I do every single day, I get up in the morning and I go through this usually in the morning. If not, then a little later, I go through this exercise of recounting my values and coursing out my day, and I do this because it helps me to reinforce it. Enforce those very values, and helps me stay on the right path. And what I really noticed was that I do a much better job when I turn the camera on. If I had to start doing it and blah 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 blah, sitting here, the camera's on, I just speed through it, and I don't get to develop. I don't find myself developing the little bits of nuance and elaborating on things. I guess it's a habit that I picked up from Japan, from being a vlogger, that when you turn the camera on, you take it more seriously. So I started doing that, and I started taking it even more seriously when I started uploading it to my other channel. And now I'm uploading it here. Look, I'm making even a preambling to this video with a whole explanation of what this is all about. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing it because it's important to me, and I discovered that it may be important to others, even if it's just a few. And so it's worthwhile. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into it. The Good Life meditation. There are 3 components to it. First is the Declaration of Human Rights, followed by the objectives, and then the principles of the good life. The part about the human rights, it's a foundation. So it's a statement that when I'm pursuing these other things, and when I'm engaged in decision making, I need to do so with a cognizance and a memory of the impact that it will have on individuals. It's easy to get carried away pursuing the good of the many, and then to leave the individuals kicked to the curb. Hold on. Pardon me. I guess you're supposed to do it like this now. That's how everybody does it. Sneeze like that. Makes sense. So I do. So I recognize that the value of the many is a very worthwhile and good thing, but it shouldn't come at the welfare of the individual. So I identify that virtue is the pursuit of what virtue is whatever improves the well-being of humans and other animals and our environment and our planet, and that those things should be pursued, yet not unduly at the expense of individuals. So don't take away the rights of individuals. Don't trample on the rights of individuals to pursue that larger good. And without a good list of my own rights, I turn to the Bill of Rights at this point in this effort. So abide the United States Constitution's Bill of Rights. You know, some of the pieces aren't really relevant to this part, but you get the basic ideas about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, those things. 2, there are 3 objectives, on the good life. 1 is the development and maintenance of good, sound principles. I have 7 principles that I'll get to in just a moment. The second part is the cultivation of good emotional reactions. I've raced through this in the last 2 videos. But let me just dwell on this for just a moment, not too long. Good emotional reactions are a key to living a good life. When we're on top of what's going on in our mind, in terms of how our emotions are rising and falling, then we can live a more mature and a life in better control of our decisions and our responses. I think it's the Stoics who talked about the pre-passions and the passions. Pre-passion is with that immediate fluster that you feel when something happens in life, like I'm driving on the freeway and someone cuts in front of me, and that immediate rise, the blood pressure starts to rise, whatever it is, the biochemistry that occurs, that he's like, cut in front of me, and that happens. That's the pre-passion. Now, there's not much as humans that we can do about that. That's a biological reaction. But what we can do is recognize a pre-passion when it rises, and then take good steps to manage that, to either not run with it, or to actually do something else. Now, there's some cases where you might indeed want to run with it, like if suddenly I'm walking through the woods and I see a snake appear right by my feet. I'm going to want to my body's going to want to react and take a quick leap and away from that. Or if someone comes in and threatens my family and breaks into my house, I'll want to leverage that pre-passion into immediate action, hopefully thinking about it well as I go with it, but do what I can to protect my family and home from the intruder. But most of the time that's not the case. Most of the time it's a guy cutting me off in traffic, or someone or at work. I'm suddenly find myself with an unexpected task that wasn't part of my normal work stream, and maybe was not properly applied to me. Maybe it was improperly applied to me, and you feel that resentment or anger, or you are ambushed with a changed deliverable, something that you thought you were working towards, but clearly there was a miscommunication, and the expectation is something else. You can have a rise of anger, of frustration, of resentment, and this can occur in many different circumstances. It's what you do with that now. Do you lash out? Do you respond vocally, or do you temper that with some control over your emotions and make an effort to make a more mature and reasoned response? It takes a great force of will to be able to do that. But with practice, and that's why I do these daily meditations, with practice, it becomes easier. Almost to the point that it's almost immediate. Almost the pre-passion begins to diminish as well. And it's like some of the, I don't know which was it Seneca who would say, when those things happened in his life, he would say, this is what I was training for. And then you execute accordingly. Execute good reactions accordingly. That is one of the primary goals of this whole operation, is to cultivate those good emotional reactions, so that we can use our time, our energy, and our resources towards the worthwhile pursuit of virtue, not the worthless and what's the right way to say it? And not the worthless pursuit of revenge and vindication and the expressions of anger. That didn't come out so well, but I think you get the idea. Okay, I've talked enough about that. Let's go on to 3. The third objective is simply to do good things, perform good actions. You know what they are, especially when you have taken the time to outline what constitutes good, the definition of good, which I define as I've said already, is the improvement of well-being, which can be in a very much an objective reality. Then you can easily discover when you can do things that can further that well-being, like becoming an informed voter and voting per your informed position. Riding a bicycle instead of a car if the opportunity is there. Turning towards your spouse in conversation and really listening to what he or she is saying, rather than being distracted by the little thing that you wanted to do, or the little upset that you have that you're toying with in your mind, like a piece of popcorn stuck in your tooth, it's distracting you away from better things. Your spouse needs you; he needs to be engaged. It's good to be focused on that. Being sensitive to when you've made an error in judgment, spoke out of place, and making efforts to correct that. These are good actions, as are simply picking up a piece of trash along the road as you walk along and depositing it anonymously in a dumpster and enjoying the satisfaction of the very act itself. Okay, I've gone through my preamble, going over the foundation of human rights, 3 objectives. Let's get down to our 7 principles. And I'm running out of time. I'm almost at work, so I'll have to go quick. Let's run through them quickly. First, the principle of the atomic principle, which I always call the principle of the atomic principle. And we started off wrong. The atomic principle. The universe is bits and pieces, flowing and changing, ever transitioning into new and different things, and improving the state of entropy by creating more entropy. I didn't need to say that last part, but you know what I mean. It's the universe is, things which are made of compounds, which are made of molecules, which are made of atoms, which are subatomic particles, which are quarks and the like, and then on until you have energy and matter. And there you go. And you and I are changing. We won't be what we were yesterday, today, nor tomorrow, and eventually we won't be at all. Let's move on. My next exit. 2, the principle of nature. Everything in the universe has a particular nature, and we live well when we recognize what the nature of everything around us is, and when we especially look at ourselves and discover what our nature is. For example, it's my nature to do this type of thing, to walk alone in wild places and to collect thoughts and put them out there whatever way I can. Here I am. I gotta speak. 3, the social principle. Humans are social animals. We need one another. It's worthwhile to pursue social ends. 4, temperance is the, as I've been going on and on, I don't have to say much about this. Temperance is the cultivation of good emotional responses. Good responses, choosing good actions to our desires and wishes in terms of eating, drinking, working, playing, sexual activities, everything and anything. Temperance in our expression of emotion, when we have an emotional reaction, all of these things. Temperance is the key to living a more controlled, disciplined life. 5, the great indifference. The recognition that the universe appears to be devoid of any sentient oversight. There does not appear to be, there's no good evidence to show that there's any gods or God out there looking after us and providing oversight to the universe. We have one another, and that's a great weighty responsibility upon our head. There is apparently no real meaning outside of what we create and define for ourselves and what we live according to. These are powerful thoughts. weighty thoughts, controversial thoughts. But to my mind, I can see no evidence that there is otherwise. I'm not saying that God doesn't exist. I'm saying that I haven't seen a good case for God's existence, and therefore when I look into the universe, I see a yawning emptiness, and I need to look to one another for comfort and peace, and for a meaning in life. We're almost done. 6, reason. The governing faculty. Reason is the capacity that we have to look at the facts of the world, to make arguments based on that, which have predictive power, which can describe what might happen in the universe. And when we look at that, if our predictive capabilities are good, then we know that we are probably onto something. We have a description of reality that seems to match the facts and allow us to see what's coming. And that's a powerful thing too. It is what I call the governing faculty. And it requires effort and time to train our minds to work in a reasoned manner. Finally, virtue. The purpose of life as I see it. Virtue is nothing more than the pursuit of the objective improvement of welfare, of well-being of humans, our pets, all the animals of the world, the ecosystems, the universe in general, making things better, against the tide of entropy. And we do that by living a life where we recognize the atomic nature of everything, the changing nature of things. We look for the nature of things around us, including ourselves, and abide that. We pursue social ends, which are a concentrated form of virtue. We exercise restraint through temperance in all things, and we use reason as the governing faculty in the face of the Great Indifference. And there you go, and I finished it before work is about to start. So thanks for watching this good life meditation for this day in 2016. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. Have a good life.